Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Timothy, and I want to go over with you how to prepare for the service. So, how to get everything ready, how to get everything rocking, and then when service starts, everything just go as smooth as possible for you. All right, so here is your process. If you look over here on the left hand side, you'll see a couple of things. You see our library, MPC library, which has all of our songs, all of our presentations, all of that kind of stuff right in here. And then you'll see there's a spot here for playlist. And what we want to do first is we want to create a playlist that's relevant to our service. And there's two ways we can do that. So we're going to click on this plus symbol here, and then we can either add a playlist, which is how you would do it manually, or you can click Planning Center Service, which auto imports from Planning Center, which our worship department uses. And typically, this is what we do. So let's go ahead. First, I'll show you how to do it manually. So if, for example, a service was not using Planning Center, if for whatever reason they didn't upload it, they didn't get a chance to put it together, and you had to manually do it, you'd click Add Playlist, name it. We'll say Sunday PM. And you'll see we have no items in our playlist. So I'm going to go to MPC Library. I'm going to select just whatever I think is relevant to that service. So just grabbed a whole bunch of things there, and I'm going to drag it into Sunday PM. So I want to organize this a little bit, so I'm going to add a header. So I'm going to click this plus symbol, hit New Header, and we'll double click, and let's just kind of organize our service. So we have worship, and then we'll add another header. We have, and then we'll double click, we have offering. We've got another header. Let's call this scriptures. And I think that's pretty good for now. So well, let's do one more. Another header, let's call it, oops, just kidding. Double click, let's call it prayer. Cool. All right, so we have our announcements before service. So let's add that to worship, so which is already there. Worship announcements after service, which I know is going to be for scriptures. Actually, let's go ahead and organize our headers first. So worship is at the top. Then we got prayer, offering, scriptures. Perfect. So announcements before service will come over here under worship. Announcements after will stay there. Announcements during offering, let's put in our offering section. Titles and scriptures stay here, but before announcements, then we have prayer. Let's move that into its header. Then we've got, say, 2 worship songs. We'll put that here under worship. And then Amazing Grace could be our offering song. Cool. So now we have an organized kind of playlist for our service. And then we can kind of go as we need to. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that, though, and because I just wanted to show you how to do that. So now we're going to hit plus, and we're going to do what we most often do, and that's Planning Center Service. You're going to choose which service is applicable. So we'll do August 25th. And as long as the worship department has created this playlist and added, what songs it's going to do and that type of thing, then it will auto import that list here for you, which is really great, really cool. In this case, we don't have, that wasn't done for this specific service, so we're going to have to manually do that, just kind of like what we just did. Now, one thing you'll notice, though, is right here, this little icon, it's a weird capitalized P, and that is actually the Planning Center logo. When that icon is there, you can't actually add or take away from this playlist. So you have to right click and convert to standard playlist, hit OK. Now you can add and remove. So we'll go to our library and let's add announcements before. We'll add announcements after. We'll add announcements during offering, title, scriptures, prayer. Let's go add our 3 songs. Let's add a 4th song and let's drag and drop it. Cool. So we'll move that to before. We'll move this to offering, titles and scriptures above the final announcements. We'll move prayer up here. We'll move 3 worship songs into worship, and we'll move anthem into offering. So now we have our playlist. Great. Nice, clean, organized, wonderful. So there's a few more things that we need to do to get ready to be fully prepared for service. The first thing is we need to take all of these that say announcements. So, well, specifically, we need to take the announcements before and the announcements after, and we have to manually indicate that those are actually announcements. So how we do that? So you select the one. So here we've got announcements before selected, and I'm going to go over here to the right hand, to the top of this slide presentation, and I'm going to choose this little target symbol, and I'm going to change it to announcements. And now you'll see it's green, and over here there's a green indicator. And then I'm going to go down to announcements after, and I'm going to do the same thing. All right, and the reason why we do that is because whatever is indicated as announcements will be a top layer, meaning it will override whatever else is on the screen. It will play above that. It will be on top of it. It's great. It's awesome. Okay, so we want to make sure that that is indicated. So next thing, we're going to check on our songs, make sure that those are all good to go. And so let's find a song that has not been worked on, because I know we've got some down here. Unclouded Day. Let's bring that up here to August 25th. This one is crazy in a mess, so let's click Unclouded Day. All right, so there's a lot we have to do here to get this song ready for service. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Reflow. And what we typically do is we do a 2-line system so that it looks good on our broadcast. So, they tell me you have a home far away beyond the skies. So here we have the first 2 lines. I'm going to hit Option Enter, Option Enter, Option Enter. Every 2 lines I'm going to do that in this case. As you know, what you want to do is just kind of make sure that as the song is going, that it makes sense where you're doing these breaks and these edits, just so that it flows right with the music. But here I'm just kind of showing you how the process works. So we want it to either have 2 lines. If it's something that would typically have 3, we would break up that 3rd line into its own. Cool. So now I'm going to hit Show. Show is kind of my universal go back to home page. So we'll click Show. Nice. That looks good. With that being said, there's still some issues. This first slide, we've got 3 lines. I think what we can do is we can edit this a little bit, and we can actually make it, why don't we select it and make it just a little bit smaller. Boom. So we just dropped it 1, and now we are on 2 lines. So everything looks good, except for this slide here, but that's okay. We would do the same thing that we just did. So, but I want to go to the next part here. So I'm going to right-click on. You'll see that this is verse 1. So I want to organize it a little bit better. So I right-clicked on this slide. I'm going to go to Group, and I'm going to indicate that it's verse 1. You'll see everything is now blue. Okay. I'm going to go here to Chorus. I'm going to right-click on Chorus, Group, Chorus. Now it breaks it to its own kind of area here. I'm going to go to we have it say verse 3, but that's fine for the example. So we're going to change it to verse 3, and it's moved it to its own section there. Actually, why don't we? That should be a verse 2. So let's do verse 2, and we'll come here to verse 3, and we will change this to verse 3. Cool. All right, so that looks so much better, so much easier and cleaner. And by indicating what those groups are, you'll now see that there's these letters in the top left corner. And what that allows you to do is use those letters as shortcuts. So I can click A on the keyboard, and it will play that group. So if I hit C, it'll take me down to the chorus. If I hit S, it'll take me down to verse 2. If I hit D, it'll take me down to verse 3. So then you can basically just use the keyboard to maneuver throughout your song, and it makes it a whole lot easier. So one more thing we want to do here is we're going to go to this plus symbol here, and we're going to add a new slide. It adds at the bottom, so let's take it and drag it over here to the top. And we are going to kind of use this to set some parameters for this song. So I'm going to right click on it, and I am going to go to add action, audience look, and I'm going to indicate that this is a song by clicking MPC lyrics. So this will come into play especially around altar call, or if you've kind of gone around doing different, like putting up graphics, putting up videos, kind of gone all throughout Pro Presenter. So what this will do is before you actually play this song or start clicking on the slide, you'll click this blank screen, and it will indicate that you are about to play, you're about to do some lyrics, and then it will auto set Pro Presenter to display those properly for you. So now I can go through here, and why this matters so much is because we are sending information to our house, so our TVs, and then we're sending information to our broadcast, and we want to make sure it's sending it properly. So by right-clicking, adding that action, audience look, and lyrics, we're able to be like, hey, just so you know, Pro Presenter, this is a song, and this is how I want you to display it. So that's basically what's happening. Cool? So we want to do that with all of our songs. You'll notice that's already done here. The other thing we'll want to do with Unclouded Day, this isn't our current format that we are displaying. So I'm going to go to Theme, MPC Standards, and I am going to go to Worship White and Black, and it should auto-update all of the slides in this song to our current look or our current theme. So then it matches everything else. So that's how you prepare a song for a presentation. Cool. And then you're good to go. Last thing you'll kind of really worry about here is titles and scriptures. So I'm going to delete what's here right now. So say pastor has given you the text for the day. You're going to click on Bible, and you are going to start adding your text. So we're going to do Acts 2:38, hit enter, and here is our text. So to add this into the playlist, we're going to go down to Save As, and you've got a couple different options, but what we always will do here is copy to selected presentation. And that's important. And what else you want to be mindful of is that you are you have selected where you want this to save. So I want this to be in my titles and scriptures, not in Anthem. So I'm not going to select Anthem. I'm going to select title and scriptures, save as, and I'm going to copy it to the selected presentation, which is titles and scriptures. So copy, and now I can go to show, and here is titles and scriptures. So one thing I want to do here is go to Theme, MPC Standards, make sure we're on Scriptures, which we are, and then I want to add my look to this very first text. So add action, audience look, and I'm going to determine how this is being shown to our TVs and our broadcast. So I'm going to click Scriptures, and there is our little mustache man who is indicating how this is going to be displayed on our different areas. So if you look over here on the right on our preview, what you'll notice, here's our in-service display. Here is our broadcast display. And we have a very special, I say very special, but we have a specific design that we want our scriptures to look like in broadcast. And if I didn't have that look, it would show up very similar to what you see here. But because I indicated with my little mustache man how I want it to display, if I click on here, now you will see that if I go to broadcast, it's showing properly how we want it indicated. Cool? So one more thing that we're going to do with scriptures is we're going to make sure that this graphic here, let's go back to our broadcast, this graphic here is showing the right image. So I am going to, there's a couple different ways you can do that. In this case though, we're going to click Theme and PC Standards, and we're going to edit this theme. So edit, broadcast scriptures, and we're going to choose the background. and we are going to, so you'll click shape, go to choose, and we're going to go to message titles, and we're going to choose the message title. This is going to go black, but that's okay. It's going to show it properly, and I'll hit show. And now when I click this right here, you'll see now the graphic is changed and it is showing the right graphic. Cool. That is how you would change that graphic. All right. So other than that, like that's the basics. Those are the basics of setting up your service. And if you have any questions, y'all know how to get in touch with me. All right. You guys have a good night.